Alright, this is a little add-on video to the series. Just going through how to do door types that use V cutters. So there's like what we do, one of our doors is what we call a beveled shaker. Instead of the normal square, we actually do the inner profile of the door with it's finished with the 60-degree beveled bit, like there, you know. And then there's some other doors that we use a 90-degree one on, and then I haven't drawn it, but we can also do some with 120-degree bit, although not that common. But the principles amongst all V doors, or doors with V's in them, are all the same. So I'm just going to do a very quick mess around with just a couple of random door sizes and coming up with different methods of using V tools for doing a couple of doors, with the intent that it would be just a bit of information, a bit of food for thought, some ideas for someone to start designing their own types of doors or whatever. So I'm just going to quickly draw a standard size door, and I'm going to give it say an 80mm rail. So there we go, there's our door. So first off, I'm going to do a V-shaped, a bevel shaker. Okay, so with all doors, the best strategy for machining is always in to out. Okay, so we're not going to start with the V, we're actually going to do the pocketing first, get that done, and then the V will come in and sort it out, okay? Reason being is if you start from outside in, when it's pocketing out, there'll be a small little strip there at the end that in some cases, rather than cutting, it'll actually be ripping it off, and then there'll be little bits of pitting in the doors, and it'll just be a bit of a nightmare to sand and fill and whatever. So I'm going to just do 7mm deep, 40mm tool. Now I'm just going to do this. No, I'll do this manually. So in my previous videos, I showed doing the vector selection to change it from manual to auto for making toolpath templates. That's been explained. For the purposes of this video, I don't need to do that. I'll just manually select the areas, the squares that I need, and just calculate. Okay. So there you go. We have a 40mm pocket, 7mm deep. Now, problem being is that pocket is going right up against the edge here, where we want the V cutter to be inside. So if we run that and then run the V cutter, essentially we're just going to have a shaker door. Okay. So what I need to do, and the main reason why I drew these V pieces, is I can measure from here to the edge. So it's 7mm up. I've drawn this line along here. I've moved it up 7mm, and then I'm measuring from here to there. Right? Obviously it's 7mm up. You can change that to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, you know. But this here, this X distance, this is the magic number. This is the number by which we want to offset the tool. Okay. So in profile and in pocket tool paths, there is an allowance or an offset by which you can move the tool in or out. So I'm going to put in 4.041. I'm going to be exact this time. You don't always have to be perfectly exact, but that's what I'll do. So I'm going to highlight that again. Press calculate. You can see it's actually moved in a bit. Fun fact, if you want to go outside the line, you can do a minus number, and you can see it goes that way. Okay, so that's the 40mm. Then want to square it a bit, so rather than doing a pocket like I just done, I'm going to do a profile, 7mm deep. I'm going to just use the 6mm bit. That'll do the job. 7mm deep, and where's my offset allowance? That's that there. Just to double check that measurement again, I'm going to measure it again. 4.041. 4.041. Okay. Close that. Select that there. And then there's our 6mm going around squaring it. Now we're ready for our V bit. So I'm going to do another profile. 7mm. I'm going to select the tool. I have some V bits down here. Just in setting up these as well, you can add a tool, and under tool type go V bit. You can put in your angle then, and then obviously put in your various parameters thereafter. But it will use this angle for doing various things. So I'm just going to close that, and I'm going to select the tool V bit. 60 degree in this case. and there's all my parameters already preset. Select that. Inside, interesting point, you cannot do offsets with V-tools. So if you're planning to use the V-tool in any of your operation, this line has to be exactly where you want it to be, and you're going to have to offset your normal end mills thereafter. Okay, and like all V-bits, we want to make sure we have the sharp internal corners, because what that will do, as you've seen in the other video, if I zoom in there, it just comes to the end and it moves on. That'll leave a little radius here. If I take this and press calculate, as you can see, when it comes over, it'll actually come up at a 60-degree angle and then back in and then back down across the door, which will leave the door square. Okay, so if I go into simulation, I will go this view here. No, I'll just do one at a time. Right. Preview visible toolpath. So there's our pocket. Yep. And here's our squaring, working in to out, and then here's the V-bit going around, and that leaves us with our little bevel shaker. Okay. Now, if we want to do a 90-degree bevel, right? Because 90 degree is easy to work with. It's 7 down, but it's also going to be 7 mil of an offset. Okay. Also 7 mil of an offset on the squaring tool, the 6 mil, and then I just go in here and I'll just physically change the tool from 60 degree to 90 degree. Calculate, and then if I go in here, I'll just reset this preview. Reset. I'm going to preview all the tool paths. It'll do the same thing again, but this time we'll be left with a 90-degree angle. So, quite a nice little touch. Now, some other fun facts. If I want to add a little detail, like I want the V cutter to go in a bit deeper, I'm just going to 2 mil more isn't anything specific. You can tweak around this to find what you like, but what this will do is it'll add a little detail into the door. Preview visible. Now you're left with this nice little detail underneath. Okay. And some other times, another thing we can do is I'm actually going to offset this outward by 4 mil. Again, this can be fine-tuned after. And I'm going to do another V profile. Now you want to go inside because I want this little V profile to be have sharp corners. I'm going to set this maybe to go 1.5 mil deep. I have the 90-degree tool. Calculate that. Lovely. And if I go back into my simulation, I can preview visible, and what that'll do is it'll leave another little detail on the outside. Now that looks to me like it's a bit close. It's actually quite close by the looks of it. So what I might do is I might offset that by, let's say, 2 mil. Right, I'm going to just delete this one, go back in here, select that line, calculate. I'm going to go back into the simulation. I'm actually going to reset the whole thing and preview all. So we'll do our pocket, and then we're going to do our 6 mil squaring. And then it's going to do the V bit in a bit deeper to make a panel, and then a little V line on the outside. Simple little tricks. You can make a nice little profile. And one more thing that you could do is, instead of this here, you could select a 4 mil cutter, for example, on the inside. Yeah, 1.5, so that's 4 mil. I need to bring that in a bit, inwards. Delete original. I'm going to bring that in 4 mil, for example. Right, and then calculate that. Okay, and we'll go back in here, reset, and preview all. This, instead of a little V line, it'll leave a little step on it.